And hello, everyone. I'm Dave DeGuzman. Welcome inside the NBC4 Digital Center for this edition of NBC4 Sports Extra. You can call this the Crew season preview, even though the Columbus Crew already 2 games into the season. But we're doing this ahead of the home opener on Saturday against the Chicago Fire. Now, through 2 games of the season, the Crew, 1 loss, 1 draw. The first was a game against Portland on the road. That was a loss, 3-2. And then last weekend against Sporting Kansas City, the Crew drawing 2-2. So 4 goals total scored this year and only 2 goal scorers for Columbus, Diego Rossi and Wessam Abu Ali. Some other changes of note during the offseason. Of course, we were talking about the departure of Darlington Nagbe from the field. Well, actually, he's back now, serving on the coaching staff. But that did leave an opening for the captaincy on the Columbus Crew, and that is now filled by Sean Zawatsky. Also, there is a new coach. Obviously, Wilfred Nancy left, and in his place, Henrik Rydström from Sweden. He used to coach Malmo over there, and now taking over the Columbus Crew. So in this next half hour, we're going to hear from Henrik Rydström. We'll also talk about these new kits that the Columbus Crew have. This is the home kit. Notice the collar. We'll kind of go in depth and get a little nerdy about what went into the design of this Crew kit, the home kit for the 2026 season. But first, sitting down with Henrik Rydström, the new head coach, sports director Joe Nugent sat down with him before the season started, and here now is that conversation.
The season is almost here. What's the excitement level to get this going here in your first year with this new group?
Yeah, it feels very, very nice, I would say. Then you also, as a coach, always have the part where you worry a lot, not worry maybe, but you think about, okay, how do we start the first game, don't focus too much on the first game, all those kind of questions. But I think everyone also look forward to have it, for real, not the friendly games, not just the training, so it will be nice.
The fan base obviously is extremely passionate here. What do you think that the fans should expect? What should they look for out of this team this season?
During my years as a coach, I sometimes talk always too much, but I also sometimes, talk too good about what I think we should expect from the team. But then that's also nice. I mean, if we have high expectations, I think the last season were a little bit setback. There were some difficulties for the team. I think the hunger will be bigger this year among the players, and then we hope that we can play that way, that we make the supporters proud and we thrilled. But at the same time, it's about winning games. So we need to add some things in our game. I've talked about threaten the opponent a little bit more. How can we do that without losing our style of play? But in a longer perspective, the goal must be to compete on the trophies every year.
It always starts somewhere. For this group, it was in training camp. Much of it was in Florida this year. Do you feel like you accomplished what you wanted to over the past month?
Yeah, maybe. No, I was about thinking that I should say that, yeah, we have had time to actually do more than I thought from the beginning, but you always want more time, you always want more sessions, you want more meetings, but I'm really happy with the things we have been able to do. And there is, but with that said, it's not always just that everything is beautiful and perfect. There are some struggles there also, but you need those to develop the potential in the team. And we had some of those, so I have understood that, okay, we need to work with this and we need to think about that. And there will be more of those when you play competitive games. But yeah, I'm really happy with how the group is handling tough situations.
Going into any season, there's an amount of unknown. Do you feel like there is some of that here? There's a little mystery as you go into the start of this new season.
Yeah, but that's a good way of seeing it. Like it's a mystery, but it's a little bit like life. You have to embrace it, and for me, on a personal level, of course, it's a lot of new things. But when I talked with the people in this organization before I arrived, I felt like I'm calm because I have a big help from people in the organization. I have a good coaching staff. We have Laurent that has played in the league, that has been a coach in the league. So I feel really safe, and then I'm more thrilled about the things we have ahead, and we are prepared to meet those challenges that we will face. So.
There's been a lot of excitement around Wessam Abu Ali, great player, joined this team in the summer last year, only played the 5 games with the ankle injury. Do you feel like he will be in position to have a big season this year for the Crew?
Yeah, then we need to be careful also, because we know when a player's been out, if you stress too much, it can be new injuries. But yeah, he's an amazing player. He played in Sweden when I was the coach there also. So I played one time against him. I think we won that game, but he scored a goal. So I know his ability, and we see it. We see it in training, but what I also like is his personality. He can complain, but he do it in a good way. He wants to lead. He wants to be better. Like today after training, he stayed 30 minutes and just worked on his finishes, and that sets the standard for the younger player and for the whole group.
It's pretty cool here that folks can watch soccer from Europe and vice versa. Through the years, how much North American soccer have you watched as you come here now and experience it really in person?
Quite a lot. Then I think the biggest problem is the time difference. But for me, it's been a little bit, what you say, like exotic thing. But I remember we had some Swedish players, coaches that were playing early in then before it was called MLS also. And then. I'm like a lot of football fans. When the big names starts to arrive, you also start to look a little bit more. But we have Zlatan Ibrahimovic that also played for Malmö, my old team. So of course you looked at the league then, and then when. I'm actually looked a lot about when it comes to Columbus Crew before, even before they were interested in my service. So in the way they played. So yeah, it feels really good to be here. And then I can just say that the American culture is so big in Sweden. So it's nice to. I'm looking forward to play the games, to win the games, but also to experience all the cities and the country.
Are you looking forward to traveling around and seeing some spots? Not that you'll be out there sightseeing and whatnot, you playing and coaching, but you'll get a taste of each of these cities while you're there.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of the sport also. I had the privilege in Sweden, both as a player, both as a player and a coach, to play the European Cups, and then you travel, and then you are in different cities in Europe, and then the places you wouldn't go to if it wasn't for the football, and it's the same now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then I think that what has stand out for me, it's the level of how professional the league is when it's come to arrange how we travel with. So in Sweden, it's a very long country. It's a big distance there. It's not in the same way, but you go with bus, and it's a lot of hours there. So looking forward to travel in another way and see other places.
As you come here and join this club, is there anything that has surprised you in the first month and a half since you've arrived and gotten to know everybody and also the facilities as well.
Yeah, I knew a lot, but I think when you are not here in person, you don't understand how good the facilities really is, and also how friendly the atmosphere in their organization. That has been. I knew that. I have heard a lot about it, but that has been something that for me is a big bonus, and that just make my motivation even bigger. So I think we take care of each other here in Columbus, and that's very nice.
As a player, you had a reputation as a strong leader. How has that evolved as a head coach? As you moved on in your career, but you can use your experience as a player.
I think nowadays there are a lot of coaches that are very good that haven't played the game, but I think you have an advantage when you have done it. And I think also, if you're a world-class player, you are Zinedine Zidane, he has been good as a coach also, but it can be difficult, or Zlatan Ibrahimovic, like you can't really put yourself in the ordinary player's shoes. You have difficulties to understand how they see the game because you are so good. And I think but to play it on a high level yourself, and the journey I did as a player was also, I went from lower division and like fought my way up and find a way of actually taking a place on the highest level. You can use that towards the players. You can also a little bit easier understand what they are going through emotionally, and that's a big part of the game. We have a lot of young coaches now that are tremendous when it comes to the tactical part. I think I'm good there also, but they have that, but they haven't. They don't connect to the players. You can be good anyway, but that had been a big thing for me. And also, when I played, we only had to play with the handbrake. Is it on in, like in a car? You don't have the handbrake anymore, but we had to. No risk. If we lost the ball, the coach, were angry. That's also important for me to let the players, let loose. You have this life, you have this game, enjoy it.
In terms of player-led leadership within this club, no more Darlington Nagbe, but Sean Zawatsky clearly taking over in that captain role. What have you seen from the players in terms of leadership?
I mean, the Darlington is not playing anymore. That will be a huge hole, because the way he played, the person he is, amazing. I have talked with him. I talked with him before I got the job. So, and then I want to use him during he's still here in the organization, so I will try to use him. Sounds bad, but I will ask him for advice, because I think he's a very good person and player. But we move on, and Sean is I mean, you can't think about a better replacement, is not the right word, but captain that succeed Darlington. So I think both are amazing persons. They lead in their own way. They are maybe not the most verbal persons, but they show by actions.
In your last stop at Malmo, in close to 3 years, you guys had a goal differential of plus 108, which is pretty wild. How were you able to accomplish that?
We were. It was a big organization. Also, if you compare with the clubs around there, but. Yeah, I think always when you work in an organization, it's about creating. I mean, I was talking about a little bit the tactics and so on, but at the end of the day, it's about how do you get the players to enjoy going to work, play every day. Then we coaches, we will always be judged about the result, but I think. Me, and now I have also Theodore, my assistant coach. He worked with me in Malmö. We've been quite good in like get the players to relax and get the most out of their potential, and then you put layer on layer, and then things will naturally become quite good.
We've got a great summer coming up with the World Cup. It's going to be great. I mean, historic in many ways. It'll be interesting with MLS taking that 7-week break. Yeah. Have you thought at all about how you guys are going to use that break to potentially help and set you up for the second half?
Yeah, that's a very long break. So it's important that you use it in a good way. But I also know that up until the break, we play 15 games, and the last part of that season will be quite hectic. So we will train maybe 2 weeks, and then we will have 1 month almost where the players are off and don't need to think about us, but they can watch the World Cup, they can enjoy that, maybe get inspired by that. Hopefully we will also have some players that are part of the World Cup, and then we will have a short pre-season, and then we go again.
As somebody from Europe, really curious what you think about the schedule flip that will be coming. This obviously will be the last season where MLS will play February to December and then flip to be off in the summer. What do you think of that decision?
I think it's good. I think it's a benefit, like you have the same schedule like the most of the leagues in Europe. So I'm looking forward to that swap.
All right, appreciate Henrik Rydström for his time there with our Joe Nugent. On the other side of the break here on this crew special of NBC4 Sports Extra, we're going to go in depth and behind the scenes as to what went into the design of this, the new crew kit that is going to be displayed this weekend at the home opener against the Chicago Fire. That's coming up on the other side of the break. All right, here with crew Vice President of Brand and Marketing, Katie Foglia. As the new kit is revealed for the 2026 season, there's always so much thought that goes into every single kit for every single season. Let's talk about the new one. What was the thought process behind what I think is kind of a subtle nod to tradition, but there's some interesting tweaks that I think make it unique?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited today to launch the Crafted for Excellence kit, which will be the crew's kit for the 2026-27 season. It's our new home kit, and you're exactly right. As we thought about this kit and this year, what we wanted to achieve, it was really important to us to go back to a gold base style and think about the crew being a leader in our space and everything that we do crafted, and this jersey we feel accomplishes that.
Okay, so what went into kind of the details? Let's show it off a little bit. It's subtle. I love the collar. I think that's a really cool, not change, but I think it's a really interesting detail that goes into it. But talk about some of the features that we're going to be seeing in this new kit.
So this is the first time that we've had a collar since 2018, which we're really excited about. Again, thinking about elegance, intelligence, the way that the crew plays on the pitch. We also think this is a very wearable kit, again, on the pitch, but on the weekend, going out with friends, pairing it with the denim jacket, black cargo pants, etc. So very wearable, stylish. But if you look at it, there's 2 sign-offs. One, the back of the neck, it says wholeheartedly committed to crafting excellence, and it has that 1996, the year that the club was founded, which is really important to us. And then the additional sign-off is, loosely inspired by the City of Columbus flag. And so you're pulling in these colors, the teal and the coral, the yellow, some kind of trend spins on it. And if you actually look at it, it's raised and it's textured, and it actually has the lines of a soccer pitch.
Let's talk about the process that goes into this. When does that process start? I assume it kind of starts for the next season, right? Probably when the beginning of the previous season.
Every kit is several years in the making, and it's a culmination of many, many people, both at Adidas, Major League Soccer, and within the Columbus crew. And we're really excited as well with Nationwide, the front of kit partner, and their involvement and support as well.
Okay, so Crafted for Excellence. Where did that idea start? What was the seed for that idea, and how did it evolve over time? I'm sure many, many meetings and many drafts of what the kit would look like.
Yeah, absolutely. as you think about 2026, we've got a big year coming up with the World Cup. So I feel like we've been talking about it for a long time, and now it's here. And so we have really a once-in-a-generation opportunity to expose new fans to the sport of soccer, with the World Cup being in our backyard. And so from a crew perspective, we also realized there was going to be a lot of people, maybe experiencing the crew for the first time. And so when we think about who we are and what we stand for the past 30 plus years, that is excellence. And so we wanted something on the pitch, out in the community, that our supporters would be excited about, and people who've been with us from day one. But then when, new fans look at us, it tells the story of who we've always been.
I think we look behind us at some of the kits from the previous years, and we see this kind of evolution. What kind of story are you trying to tell from a brand perspective and visually as you're thinking about the kit and how it evolves year to year?
Yeah, it's a great question. So as we mentioned, this is the home kit, and we want it to be the biggest expression of our brand is the black and gold. When you look at the away kit and what we did last year with the Goosebumps kit, we were able to break outside and really tell the story of R.L. Stine, beloved author from Columbus, Ohio, with the Goosebumps series, and celebrating him and our supporters who created a TIFO. That was part of the inspiration of that story. And so again, we're always kind of looking a few years ahead of what are the stories that we want to tell? How are we looking at the club, the city holistically? What makes sense for, not only the team on the pitch in terms of like wearability. If you look at this kit, it's very high performance driven. It's something that all of the guys, when they wore it, they absolutely loved it. They're touching the collar, they're tugging, at the fabric. It's very wearable, breathable performance. But at the same time, it's something that, we're excited for the supporters to wear with pride out and about.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about feedback and how that plays a role in the process. First from the players, because obviously they're the ones that mainly wear it on the pitch. What's it like to see the players see the kit for the first time and see the expression on their faces and kind of get a feel for how they feel about wearing it?
Yeah, absolutely. Soccer, and the business side of the house for the Columbus Crew, everybody's involved in these processes. It's really important, again, the wearability and performance aspect, as well as Major League Soccer and Adidas. But when the guys saw it, they all loved it. And I would tell you, somebody in the front office, maybe on the marketing team, putting it on to try it on versus seeing the players wear it, the athleticism, and again, seeing what it's going to look like on the pitch, it just doesn't compare. So it's really rewarding.
How much does maybe fan feedback play a role? Because every time you roll this out and you see the sales numbers and you see people that maybe come up to you and say, hey, I love this kit, or like, oh, I really like that detail. Or maybe there's one where it's like, oh, I love this, but maybe tweak that. How much does that play a role in just the overall process of creating a kit?
Yeah, I think for us, we always talk about win, fan, and community. And so fans are really important in everything that we do. I think, there's always going to be something for everyone. And that's kind of the beauty of every other year, a new kit coming out, and they become a collector's item. So we've got a lot of, great kits behind us. And Adidas does a nice job of, additional kits that come out through the year that are tied to other storytelling. And so, again, there's always something for everyone.
Do you want to show off some of the other new things that we have in store?
We would love to.
Yeah.
So this is an additional piece this year. You might have seen the team wearing it a sneak peek. Henrik Rydström, our new coach, was wearing it for preseason.
That's actually really cool.
Very cool, very trendy. Pulls in kind of that teal that you see and the gold.
I'm getting some nostalgic vibes as well from that. So
that's right, exactly. This is another piece of travel wear that did debut on the Crew social media, so make sure you check that out. But we've got kind of the teal accents. Nice little hood, so the team will be able to wear this as an additional piece when they travel.
Okay, can I ask, because we're getting nerdy about this whole stuff, so why teal? Where did the teal come from?
Loosely inspired by the City of Columbus flag and our sign-off that we talked about earlier. Okay. So it allows us to pull in some new colors. Again, we're always the black and gold, as you can see with our kit, but we've got some fun new colors.
Super subtle, I love that. Wrapping things up here, you said that it's kind of a process that takes years. So maybe, obviously you're not going to reveal anything, but give us a sense of the mindset of what future kits might look like, what you guys are thinking of as you're thinking about future kits.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that, we talk about every single year, again, looking 2-3 years out and really just thinking about, this is a great kit, what would look great paired with it on the other end when we think about 2027. So we've got a lot of great ideas in store, and we're always excited to see what our supporters and players are going to think about it.
What's it like for you to see not only the players obviously wear the kit, but on that first home match where you see fans walking around the stadium and just wearing something that took a lot of effort and work?
Yeah, it's really special. And as I said earlier, it's the entire front office. It's Major League Soccer, it's Adidas, it's nationwide. There's so many people that we couldn't, name that are a part of this. And so I think there's a lot of pride from everyone. But first and foremost, when we see goals, that first goal, hopefully on March 7th, when we take on the Chicago Fire at Scotts Miracle-Gro Field, that's going to feel really good.
Our thanks to Katie Foglia for the time, and by the way, a proud graduate of Ohio University. That'll do it for this edition of NBC4 Sports Extra. Once again, the Crew opening up its home schedule on Saturday against the Chicago Fire. I'm David DeGuzman. Until next time, have a great one.
Thanks for watching. For more NBC4, download the NBC4 streaming app. You'll get free 24/7 local programming streamed straight to your living room. Just search NBC4 Columbus on your Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, or Samsung device.